Things about Dunera and Queen Mary stories, and I guess about many stories associated with the Holocaust and the Second World War, is the role that chance and luck and bad luck play in taking different paths. And so some men who might have been on the Dunera found themselves on the Arandora Star, for example, and lost their lives. And there's all sorts of sliding doors moments in this historiography. And so our next speaker, who I'm very pleased to say has joined us from New York, Ronnie Woolf, who I'll introduce in 1 second, is here to talk to us about her father. And her father was an Ort boy, an involvement with Kitchener Camp, which is common to many Dunera stories. But then he wasn't on the Dunera, and his path was a different one, and Ronnie's here to tell us about that. So thank you, Ronnie.
So are there any Ort descendants here? Only that table, I know. Oh, there are some Ort descendants, and Ort. Okay, are there Kitchener descendants? Yes, there are Kitchener descendants. Thank you. Okay. So hello, my name is Ronnie Woolf, and I'm here with my husband Steve, and we live in New York City. It's an honor and a privilege to be with you today. My dad, Gerhard Woolf, owed his life to the British Ort. It's because of their efforts I'm able to be part of this joyous event. I'd also like to take this moment to recognize Edith Unger, whose late husband, Harry Unger, was one of my dad's classmates in Berlin. Dad was fortunate not to have journeyed on the Dunera, but 40 of his classmates from Berlin did. Dad's 112-page diary was found on August 2012, 42 years after his death. This is how we found out that Dad was one of 106 old boys, 15 to 17, who left Berlin 3 days before World War II broke out and arrived at the Kitchener camp in Sandwich, England on September 1st, 1939. Unfortunately, the second group of 100 boys and their instructors weren't able to leave Germany. All but one perished by the hands of the Nazis. The old boys left Kitchener camp in December of 1939. Their school resettled in Leeds, England, and the boys lived in assorted cottages on the property. A shout out to any of the old boy descendants who are here today. We're sort of a family. And now to share a few passages from his diary. Leeds, England, February 1940. I'm 17 years old. I play piano in our newly formed jazz band called the Rhythm Teddies. One day, 3 gentlemen overheard us playing and invited us to play at a party. Admission was 5 shillings. We were a little anxious because we had to play really well, but just like big shots, we arrived late. The guests appeared in long gowns and tuxedos, and we wore blue pants, blue shirts, and a red tie. People told us we made a very good impression, and it worked out really well. During the break, we danced and felt like heroes. At the end of the evening, we even earned some money. We had fun, and this was the beginning of our social life in Leeds. In March and April, we built really good soccer field, a potato field, and a few garden plots. One day, my green cottage comrades and I discussed what we should do for money. A refreshment stand, a cigarette stand, or how about buying a piglet for 15 shillings, and in the fall, selling it for 100. We had to give up on that idea because we were all from pious Jewish homes, and what would the rabbi say? How about a cow? But who could give up their milking cow at this time? And finally, we settled on buying chickens. Back and forth, we discussed this, but in the end, we were afraid to invest in such an uncertain project. As it turned out, only 5 guys were able to give 5 shillings a piece, and so we had 25 shillings, but we needed more money. Those of us in the green cottage were very resourceful. We decided we would be doing something good if we cleaned up all the loose fences because someone could break their leg on them. Then we collected lead water pipes from old ruined buildings and the heating pipes from dilapidated greenhouses. We went into town and found an old ragman to sell our treasures to. He didn't make it easy. He was a seasoned and savvy negotiator, but we didn't make it easy on him either. Now we had enough to set up a chicken farm. First, where to buy the laying hens. After being directed by the poultry shop owner, we went and chose the ones we thought were best. We were very worried because the responsibility was on us. Upon our return to the school, what an unforgettable scene it was when we led the chickens one by one into their newly constructed coop while members of our band played the entry march to Aida. A group gathered and looked on in amazement. Diary, we all felt so much pride and happiness and relief at the sight of the 2 freshly laid eggs the very next morning. 30 old boys came to Australia on the Dinera and were interned. I brought with me today a copy of a diary of one such internee, Kurt Lewinsky, titled 19 Wasted Months. Kurt never had children, but this copy certainly belongs here with you. And so this is it is very long, and we will be giving it to Seamus. Thank you all.
Thank you very much indeed, Ronnie. And there's something wonderful about diaries and first-person accounts of bringing history to life. Thank you for sharing those words, Ronnie, and we're very pleased that you and your husband have made the journey from New York to be here, so thank you.